Hey, what's good, everybody here? I hope you guys had a phenomenal weekend. We're back to the grind here, January 4th already. It's Monday morning, so it's time for everybody to get their sleepy selves up and get back to work. I know, not what a lot of people want to hear, but it is what it is. So, I wanted to get into this story. Obviously, you guys see the title here that I put on, just basically dealing with your right to assemble. Now, this here, I guess, let's put this in context. I want to take a look real quick here at the First Amendment. Very important we go over this here. First Amendment states that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. It's one right. The prohibition or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. We'll bridge that together with the first one. The abridgment of freedom of speech, 2. Or the press, 3. Or the right of the people to peaceably assemble, 4. And to petition the government for a redress of grievances, 5. There are 5 rights that are explicitly stated here within the First Amendment. I want to focus on number 4. What is 4? The right of the people to peaceably assemble. This is a big deal because when we take a look at what's been happening as of late, well, I should say for the vast majority of 2020, ever since this outbreak, this pandemic, the COVID vaccine, or not vaccine, excuse me, virus vaccine, I don't even know if it matters anymore. But I guess I feel like I'm in this position where I have to tell you that your right to assemble no longer exists. Now, I know what the First Amendment says, and I also understand that the Constitution is supposed to guarantee your rights. Your constitutional rights are only guaranteed so much as the people that are in charge, the so-called leaders of this country on various levels, will actually be loyal and have fidelity to the Constitution in order to protect those rights that each of us as American citizens have. In a story here that reminds me of the movie Ultraviolet. I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie Ultraviolet. Came out back in 2006. Starred Mila Jovovich. Basically, what ended up happening was it was a global pandemic. It ended the movie obviously being a sci-fi movie. The pandemic caused what they call hemophages, basically vampires. And in order to protect the world, what they would do is they would round up all these hemophages, and a new regime was born out of the madness. And this regime was like a Ministry of Medicine or some garbage like that. Basically, they ruled with an iron fist. They used shock troops, termination squads, the whole bit. I'm going to share my screen here because I think this is kind of important. I've been fascinated for years how fiction seems to predict what happens in reality. And we're going to take a look at this. Let's remove the overlay. We're going to pop this over here. Now remember, when we talk about a right to assemble, what we are talking about here is a right for you, me, our neighbors, whomever, to assemble. Doesn't say that we have to assemble for political protest. Doesn't say we have to assemble for, I don't know, take your pick. We could assemble to sit around and shoot dice. We could sit around and do Pokemon cards. We could sit around and game. Hell, we should be able to get together and have a party. See, the Constitution, doesn't matter whether or not there's a pandemic or not, your constitutional rights are still there. Remember, our Constitution is supposed to be the supreme law of the land. But no, not according to a lot of different places. In LA over this past weekend here was no different. In this story here from the Daily Wire, we got hundreds detained after super spreader task force shuts down New Year's Eve parties across Los Angeles County. And let's get into the story here. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department first fully mobilized the agency's super spreader task force on New Year's Eve to target underground parties that violated public health orders. Public health orders, can you believe that? Not laws, not anything was passed by a legislative body, not anything signed into law by a governor, or a mayor, a statute. No, executive edict. According to Fox 11, the operation resulted in at least 900 people being detained, 90 arrested and or citations, and the recovery of at least 6 guns. I made it clear that we will seek out and take law enforcement action against all super spreader events occurring within Los Angeles County, said Sheriff Alex Villanueva. The goal of these enforcement actions is to reduce the spread of COVID-19 and the risk to our vulnerable population. Wow, this doesn't seem like that crazy ultraviolet movie. I don't know what does. Hundreds of detectives, patrol agencies, and specialized response teams conducted operations at 5 separate locations throughout America's most populated county, ranging from rented residences, vacant warehouses, hotels, and shutter business. Fox 11 broadcast the exclusive video of police breaking up most of the gatherings, including one reporter, Bill Milligan, described as a massive house party in an upscale beach community in Malibu. Law enforcement warned over a loudspeaker. This is the LA County Sheriff's Department. This super spreader party is now over. Yeah, I could just imagine how that sounded. Deputies instructed partygoers to leave immediately or face a citation. We are actively enforcing the super spreaders. We are actively enforcing the super spreader to protect against COVID, Captain Holly Francisco told Fox 11. Once we confirmed that there was a party here, we had our super spreader task force respond and detain the occupants. Milligan reported the party had been promoted by on Instagram by a promoter known as Mo the Plug, who, according to LA Sheriff's Department, was also illegally selling guns through the social media platform. Fox reported that he had been arrested earlier this week after LA Sheriff's Department served a search warrant at his home. But we're told he was almost immediately released from jail, she said. LA Sheriff's Department arrested the promoter again when the party was shut down. An even larger New Year's celebration took place at a warehouse in downtown LA. Video from Fox showed the crowd filing out of the building. A woman who had attended the event removed her face covering to scream at a deputy who stood just feet away. "Arrest me now so I can bail out," she demanded. The outlet was also present at a third party held at a DoubleTree Hotel in Panoma, about 30 miles east of LA. The Sheriff's Department estimated 200 people were there. "We're going ahead and writing citations to these people that knowingly place others in jeopardy," said Lieutenant John Shatterfield in an interview with Fox 11. "There was no social distancing. There was no mask. It was a very safe and irresponsible environment." LA Sheriff's Department said other raids took place in Hawthorne and another location in LA. On New Year's Day, the LA County Public Health recorded over 20,000 new COVID cases and more than 200 deaths. Daily hospitalizations increased to 7,613. Statewide, California had 508 COVID deaths, a new single-day record. ICU bed capacity in Southern California region remains at 0%. So my question now is, if the ICU bed capacity is at 0%, what is the problem? I guess I am frustrated as I continue to watch this over and over again. Law enforcement officers, I mean, these people are literally cracking down and enforcing edict, not law. They are enforcing things that are contrary and in direct violation of the United States Constitution. I think it is absolutely appalling that each one of these people that put on a badge, they go out there, they enforce these edicts, they swear an oath to the Constitution to uphold and protect it, but yet they go out there and break their oath each and every time. We have seen in recent days, and when I say recent days, within the last 2 weeks, actual clashes between right-wing protesters and law enforcement. Now, I don't know if law enforcement has any, I don't know. I think what bothers me is a lack of thought process from so-called law enforcement officials, from members of the law enforcement community. You are literally stomping on the people now that back the blue, the groups of people that actually were running around waving the Blue Lives Matter over the flag over the course of the summer when everybody was claiming defund the police, when everybody was saying, you know what, abolish the police. But now you're going to trample on ordinary, average citizens that just want to do nothing more than to get together because you're a super spreader task force? How incredibly irresponsible is it of law enforcement to go out there and, like I said, you're enforcing edict. You're not enforcing law. And it's not like this is anything that's new. This is actually something that has happened a couple of times. I think it was, I want to say last month, there was a party out in New York City. And at that time, what did law enforcement do? They ended up breaking it up, arresting a bunch of people. But what's funny about it, in probably a more tragic sense, is that while you and me cannot assemble together, you and me can't get together to have a party, you and me can't get together to go, shoot dice, we can't get together to slap down Pokemon cards. Well, hell, Gavin Newsom can go out and dine out with 10 of his closest friends with no mask, no social distancing, anything else like that. You've had various other politicians attend these mass parties celebrating their electoral victories. Yeah, see, they can go out and do these things. You and me, we can't. And that's got to change at some point in the very near future. Regardless of what happens this week, we're all going to have to make a collective choice. We're either going to literally bend the knee and cow down to these Oathbreakers, these individuals with badges that are enforcing these edicts, and say, yes, sir, may I have another? Do what we're told. Or we're going to rise up and live as free men and women and literally give the big FU to people that want to go ahead and violate their oaths to the Constitution and break up yours and mine right to assemble with whoever and wherever we want, whenever we want. So I'm going to leave it here at that. Like I said, it's Monday morning, so I hope you guys have a phenomenal Monday and phenomenal week. I know we got a busy week ahead of us. January 6th, just right around the corner. Georgia primary election is going to be tomorrow. For those of you guys out in Georgia, vote. Your life literally depends on it. But guys, go out there and become the best version of yourselves you can be. Just remember, guys, it's International Ass Kicking Day. Make yourself better than you were yesterday. And on that note, I will see y'all later. I'm out.